So few people are watching RTE these days, and too many of us are watching Netflix. So the government has decided to abandon the old TV licence and bring in a regressive broadcast charge. The government's plans to replace the old TV licence with a new broadcast charge has met with considerable anger from working class people. This charge is just a way to capture money from the 1 in 8 people who no longer have a television and only watch stuff on their laptop or phone. And as usual, when Fine Gael or Fianna Fáil introduce a charge like this, it hits everybody the same, no matter what your income. So a little granny in Crumlin and a billionaire like Dennis O'Brien will pay exactly the same charge. Instead, why don't they pay for public service broadcasting by putting a tax on the big social media giants? Big corporations and vultures that use Ireland as a tax haven. Ireland is now the biggest tax haven in the world. Multinational corporations and vultures shifted 90 billion in profits through Ireland in 1 year because they know they can do that and it won't be taxed and it won't contribute to public service broadcasting or our health service or housing. It was more cash than all of the tax havens in the Caribbean combined. But the anger is also because RTE has failed as a public service broadcaster. From demonising water protesters to allowing right-wing economists who justify austerity, and RTE's salaries are through the roof. I mean, Ryan Tubridy's getting $495,000 a year, and that's being collected by his private company, Tuttle Productions Limited. Because just like with housing or healthcare, the government have been running down RTE and outsourcing to private companies. So instead of RTE directly employing carpenters and stagehands and people who can actually build things, they farm all the productions of their TV programmes out to private vulture funds who hire workers on a Monday, fire them on a Friday and then rehire them on a worse contract on the next Monday. Now some people get so angry at RTE they say it should be scrapped. But if we don't have a decent public broadcaster, we're left in the hands of the Dennis O'Brien owned media, which spouts just as right-wing and pro-government aligned. A real public broadcaster would give whole shows over to striking nurses, would have features on community workers who are out there with their sleeves rolled up in our communities doing hard work, would talk to the people at the front line of the mental health crisis. The moves to a new broadcasting charge is also linked to privatisation because An Post are in charge of collecting the old licence fee and they'll lose some of their revenue in favour of a private company. RTE needs to be radically overhauled and transformed to meet the needs of the 21st century. It needs a completely different type of programming, a progressive method of charging for its content that puts the burden of the cost on the rich, and an end to the ridiculous wages paid out to its so-called stars.